excited about this. You're a true icon of metal.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
We're kind of coming to one of our second homes now. We've been there to Trump's a lot of times.
Yeah, man.
It's great.
Yeah, so looking forward to that, definitely.
Yeah, it's a brand new show and everything. So anybody that's seen the last show, this is a continuation of that one.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome, man. Everybody's looking forward to you playing on Halloween.
Yeah, we're going to be actually in New York City on Halloween.
Yeah, in Roseland. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, we're going to try to bring a little light entertainment
Cool,
to
man.
a place that needs some entertainment right now.
Yeah, definitely. Now, you recently just won the Living Legend Award from the International Horror Guild.
Yeah.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you. That was the first non-literary person to win that.
Right.
And I mean, that was very nice company. Ray Bradbury and Stephen King and those guys.
Yeah, definitely.
To be included in that's very nice.
Cool. That's awesome. Yeah. So that must be excellent. Now, how does it feel to be looked at as a legend on the metal scene and to see, to look at and see everyone that you've influenced?
Well, it's one of those things where I think that, once that Alice, Ozzy, Aerosmith, AC/DC, once those bands are gone, I don't think you're going to see that again.
Right.
Only because of the fact that the music business right now and the record companies are just not in the business of giving anybody a chance past 3 or 4 years.
Right, it's true.
I mean, if you're going to stay together past 3 or 4 years, boy, it's going to be the band's own determination.
Right.
Because nobody's going to help them. I feel sorry for them. I mean, when we first started, everybody, Warner Brothers wanted, 20 albums.
Right.
Now, I think if I were going to be on a new record company, they would say, well, maybe 2 albums.
Right.
I mean, to me, that's just, it's almost you're almost defeated before you start.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, that a lot of the new, the stuff that's come after you, like MTV and stuff, kind of made the flushing system faster.
It did. It's making it very disposable.
Right.
It's making the music business very disposable. I can't think of too many rock and roll bands that are out there anymore. Maybe Buck Cherry.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I can include maybe Offspring.
Right.
Weezer. There's some good bands out there, but what I'm saying is there's just no real hard rock bands out there.
Right.
And that's what always has been. If you look at Kiss and Alice Cooper and Aerosmith and Ozzy and those bands,
right,
what is the one thing that is common denominator between all of them? If you strip away all the image and all the the legendary status and all that, all of us are hard rock bands.
Right, exactly.
We're all garage bands.
Right.
And there's just not that many out there anymore.
That's true. There's a lot of put together studio.
Yeah. You go in the studio and I could take anybody in the studio right now and make them sound like the greatest band in the world.
Right.
I don't care who they are.
Right.
And there are ways of making. You can sing any notes, and there's a thing on the computer where I can make those notes perfect, so it sounds like you're the best singer in the world.
Yep.
So, I mean, the real proof is in taking that band, putting them on stage in front of 15,000 people, and seeing if that's really where the proof is.
Exactly.
And these bands, a lot of these bands get in the studio. They're really good in the studio. They come out, they put them in an audience, and then it shows.
Exactly. Yeah, it's true, and there's not the stage presence isn't the same either.
Yeah, it just there's nothing better than actually growing up. We were on stage for 6 years doing gigs before we ever saw a studio.
Right.
By that time, we were pretty tight, pretty good stage band.
Yeah, exactly. And the chemistry is locked in.
Yeah, and I mean it all has to do with being able to fail a certain amount too. I mean, if you only get one strike, that's too bad. I mean, we made our first 2 albums were just total bombs.
Right.
The third album was a monster. And then from then on, we had a bunch of hit records in a row. But we did have to make our mistakes.
Yeah.
And anymore bands are not allowed to make those mistakes.
Exactly. Like you said, if this would have been now, after one one failure, that's it.
That's it. I mean, even the Stones, 20 albums in, made a couple of albums that just stunk.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, for me to say this, the Stones were great.
Yeah. Definitely. But yeah, I definitely see what you're saying, man.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that the industry's gotten this kind of shallow.
Really getting very, very disposable.
Now, what do you think? Like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is such a hard time recognizing metal acts, and especially you, and Ozzy, and other guys.
And when you would think of it, wouldn't that be the first band you'd put in?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I would imagine that you would put in, the hard rock veterans.
Yeah.
From the 60s, 70s, 80s, who's got 25 albums out, 20 of those are platinum, whatever.
Yeah, right.
And has done countless shows and influenced almost every band out there. And they're going, Billy Joel. And you're going, what?
Exactly.
But you know what? I have no say over that. And it doesn't make or break my life.
Right.
And eventually somebody's going to say, hey, did we forget Alice?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you've got all these bands that he created.
Yeah, really.
Forgetting him.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I don't know what to do about that. It's like I said, it's not going to change my life. It actually, I think, makes them look a little silly.
Yeah, it does, definitely. And the people are taking notice.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think anybody with any rock and roll sensibility.
Right. Exactly. It's just not right.
Yeah. It does bother me that maybe I'm not in the right hangout group.
Right.
I mean, that shouldn't have anything to do with it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, geez. if you have to know everybody that's on the nominating list to get in the Hall of Fame, I'm sorry, I just don't hang out in those groups.
Yeah, right. And then the people that are hanging in the groups and get in, I mean, where's the honor in that?
Yeah. It takes people like you that see that.
Right.
Email them. Start an email campaign.
There you go.
Where's Alice?
Damn right. Now, let's get into Dragontown, because I know you don't got too much time.
Yeah.
How would you describe this whole this album as a whole?
Well, Dragontown, being part 2 of Brutal Planet,
Right.
is a continuation. It's just a continuation of. This one, though, is a little bit more, what I would say, character-driven.
Right.
Now we're not just in Brutal Planet. Now we're in the depths of it.
Right.
Now we're in the worst part of it, and we're kind of looking around and seeing who's down there. And it's surprising who is down there. We see Elvis.
Right.
We see this guy Trigger Man.
Right.
We see this slob fantasy man who thinks he's God's gift to women.
Right.
A lot of characters down there. Jim Morrison's down there. John Lennon.
Right.
And you're going, how did you get down here? And the point of a lot of that is nice guys go to hell.
Right.
And you have to also remember, I drank with every one of these guys.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I used to drink with John Lennon and Jim Morrison and Elvis, all 3 of them.
Wow.
And so I think they would understand that I'm not sending them there, I'm sending their characters there.
Right. That's pretty cool. And also, so you said with Elvis that he would have liked the idea.
Here's the deal with Elvis, and it was something. I've got to admit one thing. A lot of Brutal Planet and Dragontown is Alice finally clearing the slates.
Right.
He's pissed off about a lot of things.
Right.
And he's getting all this. I mean, it even goes down to people that talk in movies.
Right.
I mean, they should be in Dragontown. He's sending all these people to hell.
Right.
And yeah, it's one of those things where I'm actually just lashing out at all, at a lot of my piss offs.
Right.
But the deal is Jim Morrison was the king of rock and roll.
Yeah.
When I knew him, he was 6'3". He looked great.
Right.
He had black hair. He was, looked great. He was doing karate. He owned the world.
Right.
that guy should not have died fat, bloated, drugged on a toilet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
That's not the death he should have had.
Right.
So that's why it ended up being Disgraceland.
Right, right.
It was my comment on his death, you know, rather than his life.
Right, right, right.
And with Jim Morrison, you know, Dragon Town was a place he would want to have been in.
Right.
You know, here's a, you know, I would say here's Dragon Town, you know, and the lyrics on that, here you are lying, you know, on this broken glass street with all this stuff, and it smells like old Cantonese food. And this is a place where Jim Morrison would love to wander around.
Right, right.
You know, and then a song, It's Much Too Late, the John Lennon kind of song, is exactly his kind of cynicism.
Right, right.
You know, I mean, I tried to write that, and I almost got Paul McCartney to sing on that.
Oh, really?
He was in the next studio, and I was doing the song, and I was kept turning it up louder for, you know, for him to walk in. I kept walking in on his sessions. He kept walking in on mine, and I was hoping he'd walk in on that one.
Right, right.
Because it was pure Beatle.
Right.
And I was going to say, you know, hey, listen, why don't you sing on this?
Yeah, yeah.
It's a song about John, you know. He would have liked that, I think.
Yeah, yeah, that would have been pretty cool. And did he get to hear the song yet?
He didn't even hear the song. He heard a couple other ones.
Oh, okay.
And I listened to a few things on his album, and it was great.
Cool.
You know, I've known Paul for 30 years, so it was great to see him again.
Right, yeah, definitely. That's cool, man. It's cool that you know, the history that you carry with you is incredible.
Yeah, you know, I was in a golden age of rock and roll when Alice hit.
Right.
I was in the 70s, so I got to meet all the masters from the 60s.
Right, yeah.
And then I got to help invent some of the ones from the 70s and 80s.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, a lot
Still.
of these guys would come to my shows. David Bowie used to come to our shows when he was David Jones.
Wow, wow.
And he was a folk singer.
Yeah, right, right.
Elton used to come to our shows when he was a piano player.
Wow.
And, you know, and then I watched all of them invent their own characters.
Yeah.
Which was great. And I never felt that they were any threat to me.
Right, right.
You know, they were friends. And they created their own kind of theatrical characters, and same with Kiss.
Yep.
I mean, Kiss was just a bunch of guys, and they said, well, if one Alice Cooper works, then four ought to work.
Yeah.
but we never did shows that were similar.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, they're both very theatrical, but
yeah,
like I said,
but I never felt when I saw their show, I said, well, that's nothing like my show.
Yeah, they didn't like totally rip you off.
Right.
Right. And now, even to this day, you got guys like Marilyn Manson, you got Slipknot, and all these the other groups that have spawned, you know, basic from, you know, Rob
Sure,
Zombie.
the character, yeah.
Yeah, they all come, like, you know, branched off from the Alice Cooper legend.
You can get those roots right back there, yeah. When I look at, you know, I look at Marilyn, and Marilyn took a sort of a futuristic metal industrial music.
Right.
And with all the twisted psychology and the twisted theology he has, and created something pretty scary.
Right.
But musically, it's nothing like Alice.
Oh, right, yeah.
You know, I think
he's like a combo of you and like Bowie.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, you know, with a more of a new style metal.
I think the scariest thing about him is his videos.
Yeah. Yeah,
his videos are really disturbing. You know, and it's the girl that does his videos is pretty out there.
Right, right.
But I've never even met Marilyn.
Oh, really?
I know. Now, one of my best friends in the business is Rob Zombie.
Right, yeah.
Rob and I are probably a lot closer than I would say that me and Marilyn Manson is.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely has more of the horror aspect.
Yeah. I mean, I could sit and talk to Rob for hours about horror movies.
Cool.
And I would have a little bit of a hard time with Marilyn Manson because, first of all, we'd have to get past this whole anti-Christian thing.
Right, yeah, exactly.
You know, I'm a Christian.
Right.
And, you know, we would have to get through that first.
Right, right.
Before we would be able to talk about anything else.
Because that's one thing that a lot of people do misinterpret about you, is that you are evil when indeed you're not.
Well, I think it's, I've finally gotten to that point where Alice Cooper is more Vincent Price
Right, right.
than, than anything than Ted Bundy.
Right. Right.
And I think everybody has kind of always understood that there was a sense of humor and a tongue-in-cheek in everything that I've done.
Right, right, right.
And I think the reason that they see that is because they now look at bands like Slipknot and Mudvayne and Marilyn, and there's not a lot of sense of humor in it.
Yeah, right, right. They take
And
themselves
they
too.
go, you know what? I kind of like the sense of humor part. I like the fact that Alice made us laugh too.
Yeah, right, right, right.
You know.
Exactly, like you said, more like a Vincent Price edge.
Yeah, I think it's okay to scare somebody, but you also have to make them laugh.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Like even Vincent Price did the Brady Bunch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, right. So that's cool. So now the track "I Am the Sentinel."
Yeah.
That's about a guy making bombs and stuff.
It is, and it's about a loner. It was probably closer to the Unabomber,
Right.
than anything else, because everybody down there was a single character. There's even lyrics in there that says, "I'm not a Muslim, I'm not a Catholic,
Right.
I'm not a Bible belt, I'm not this, I'm not that.
Right.
I'm on my own." But there's one line that says, "There's something disturbing going on in my turban."
Yeah, there you
So
go.
I think this guy is probably from Indiana somewhere,
Right.
but he wears a turban, and he wants to be part of every underground organization. And the reason he's in Dragontown is because he got his red wire and his green wire crossed.
That will do it, huh?
And the last thing he was thinking about was, what? Yeah.
Cool. So now, when you perform that live, does it take on a whole new meaning now since the?
Well, we don't even do that song.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's one of those songs that after the 11th, it was now the song destined for stage.
Right.
Whereas Trigger Man though is,
Right.
and Fantasy Man is, and Sex, Death, and Money is, and Every Woman Has a Name is in there. Fantasy Man.
Cool.
Yeah, there's five songs that are in there, and even a little piece of Dragontown.
Oh, cool.
So
That's excellent. And now you'll be playing, like I said, Roseland Halloween. Everyone's looking forward
Halloween
to it.
night, yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Right. We were going to dedicate the entire night, the proceeds from that night, to the relief fund. Then we realized that they would be making more money if we took a percentage of the merchandise for the entire tour.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So that way, every single night, there's money going there.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, it just made more sense to us to do that.
All right, that's excellent that you're doing that. That's excellent. Yeah. Now, before you go on stage, are there any rituals that you do to get into the whole total character and stuff?
Nothing that's, that you would think that might be more mystical than what it is.
Right.
I sit and I watch really bad kung fu movies. I drink a Diet Coke. I put the makeup on, put the costume on, and take about 10 minutes to start thinking about the character. And then by the time I get to stage, I'm Alice.
Cool. That's pretty cool. And it's easy. I've seen the behind the music on you, and they said that after the show, it takes time to get out of character.
It used to. Now it doesn't. As soon as I step off that stage, I'm me again.
Cool. So I guess through
I leave Alice up there.
Cool.
That's where he wants to be, so that's where I leave him.
That's excellent, man. Well, Mr. Cooper, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me, man.
Well, great. And we always look forward to playing up there too.
Yeah,
It's one of the areas everybody loves going to.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to definitely seeing the show.
All right, great.
Yeah, it's gonna be excellent.
Okay, great. And come back and say hi after the show.
Oh, you got it, definitely, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.